The July Comic Tom Mystery Mail Call will include the first ever Comic Tom Gem Mint exclusive variant. Dynamite allowed us to do a reprint for The Boys Issue 1, the original series from 2006, with this Ben Temple-Smith Homelander cover. This box will also be the first one to contain an additional comic book that's made specifically for children. This one's called Claire and the Dragons and acts as an homage to Dr. Seuss. You got that little Dr. Seuss Comic Tom logo as well. Hit ComicTom101.com to secure the box today. What's going on, everybody? Gem Mint here with today's new comic book day reviews. It's Wednesday, June 23rd, and as always, I'm going to try to get through this large stack as spoiler-free as possible. Before we get started, make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss a video. You know we got the giveaway going on for our next subscriber milestone of 150K, where we're going to give away this Sideshow Deja Thor's premium format. All you got to do is be subscribed, leave a like, and comment on this video, and if you stick around until the end, I'll give you more details on how the giveaway is going to go down. Before we get started, big shout out to the sponsor of this video, cheapgraphicnovels.com. They're the ones that sell those collected editions like Omnibus, Absolutes, Library Editions, up to 50% off cover price. They have great packaging, fast shipping, and excellent customer service, plus a bargain bin where you can get titles up to 90% off. If you mention this channel in the memo at checkout for your first order, your second order will have free shipping if you're in the United States. Alright guys, we're going to start off with Image and the digital books, and I'm going to start with Shadecraft issue 4. This is by Henderson, Garbett, Fabella, and Bolin. Shadecraft really went a little bit deeper than I first thought this story was going to be. Not only do we find out the true nature of the shadows and where they come from, we figure out other people close to the main character may be able to manipulate shadows as well. There's this whole government agency thing that has been training these type of people going way back. So again, it went much deeper. The artwork is great. It's refreshing. You have these shadows, and they do a lot of cool things with emotion, and when the characters get angry, the shadows start closing on in. It was getting a little stale the first 3 issues, but I think issue 4 really ramped it up. And actually, I read Spawn Universe 1 digitally, but my local comic shop threw in a copy for free, so big shout out to you. Spawn Universe number 1. So basically, there's a big main story, and then there's 3 little backups. So the main story picks up where Spawn leaves off. And I gotta be honest, it's kind of difficult to explain the plot of Spawn. It's like, what's going on now? Heaven and hell and demons and angels. Everybody's pissed off at Earth. Everybody's pissed off at Spawn. This is the aftermath of the big battle with Omega Spawn. And what this is basically doing is trying to set up the new universe and the new titles. You have a backup story with Medieval Spawn, with She Spawn, and with Gunslinger Spawn. Some first appearances, some new baddies here. Good guys or bad guys, I guess. In the afterlife, they're all bad, kind of. And major changes to a legacy Spawn character that I'm not going to spoil, but kind of piqued my interest a little bit there. I'm definitely going to pick up these new number 1 titles that come out and see what's going on with the Spawn universe. Moving over to Boom Studios, we have Something is Killing the Children, issue 17 by James Tynion IV, Werther Deladera, and Miguel Muerto. So I didn't really get into it yet, but this is a huge stack of books this week, and a lot of these were a chore to get through, man. So Something is Killing the Children was not one of those. This is one of the refreshing books that I read this week, and basically you have the House of Slaughter, kind of like Xavier's Mansion. They brought in this young Erica Slaughter, and she's kind of seeing the people that run it behind closed doors, arguing about her being there. She didn't really get there through the proper method. She was rescued by her savior. I can't really remember her name. And it's written well. It's paced so well. The art style is great. And like I said, one of the refreshing reads out of this big stack. Sticking with Boom, we have Power Rangers issue 8. This is by Parrott, Mortarino, and Angulo. So this is one of those ones, I'm getting a little tired of this run, man. It's just like, I just don't care about what's happening here. The Omega Rangers are off-world. There's this world-ending event that's happening on this planet that I don't care about, people I can't remember, races and names I don't remember, all kind of leading up to the Imperials attacking Earth. That's kind of where it's all going. I mean, the artwork is good, though. Like, the Boom Studios artwork, it's either really gritty, like Something is Killing the Children or Berserker, or you have stuff like Power Rangers and the next book that I'm going to talk about. So let's stick with Boom, and we'll talk about Good Luck issue 1. This is by Matthew Ehrman and Stefano Simone. So, art style very similar to Power Rangers. Flashy, bright. It starts off really intriguing. I'm hooked in the beginning. Basically, it's the regular world, but these two gods come out of nowhere without warning. You have the god of luck, and then you have the god of bad luck, and they're like living amongst humans, and wherever the luck guy goes, good things happen. Wherever the bad luck god goes, bad things happen. And when they meet and when they touch fingers, I guess, kind of like, you know, that painting, I don't remember what the name is, something happens, and that's where they kind of lost me. You know it's bad when one of the characters in the book says, I'm confused. I mean, if I'm confused, I mean, if you don't know what's going on, how the hell do I know what's going on? I don't know. It's like all of a sudden it turned into there's some simulation, and then you have these people that are born void of luck. They don't have good luck or bad luck, which really means they have bad luck. I don't know. It hooked me in the beginning, and then it just totally lost me. And a couple of books lost me this week. I don't know if I'm in a bad mood or not. We'll have to find out. All right, moving on over to Valiant. We have Shadow Man issue 3, Cullen Bunn, John Davis Hutt, Jordy Belair, Clayton Cowles. I'm digging this. You know what's funny? I've been playing a lot of Mortal Kombat 11 on Twitch. Come follow me on Twitch, Gem Mint Collectibles. And I'm looking at this character, and I'm like, Shadow Man reminds me of Noob Saibot. And then I'm like, dang, wouldn't it be cool if Valiant had a fighting game made by NetherRealm, Bloodshot, Rai, Ninjak, Harbinger, Crew People, Shadow Man? That would be a dope video game. Anyway, Shadow Man's a good book. You have the Shadow Man fighting this new villain, the Pole Bear. I can't believe I remembered that. Loa's fighting Loa's. We see the Shadow Man's Loa. We find kind of this big hook at the end on a big Loa. I don't really want to spoil it for those of you that are reading this, but I'm happy with Shadow Man so far. Cullen Bunn's doing a great job. It's superhero horror, and it's fun. Moving on over to Marvel with Darth Vader, issue 13 by Pac, Ienso, and Keith. It says War of the Bounty Hunters on top. I guess it does kind of tie in a little bit. I said I was going to read War of the Bounty Hunters, and I'm not reading it, but this still felt like Vader. It still picks up where we left off last time with Darth Sidious destroying Vader and putting him back together and putting him in his place. And like the internal monologues that go through Darth Vader's mind in the beginning of this issue, they're great, man. Anytime you have that kind of stuff, it's really good. It was a little bit slow kind of introducing these droids, but then you have this big epic battle with Vader being Vader. They write him so well in this book, man. And it was probably the weakest issue out of the whole run so far, but it was still really good. So that just shows you how good this run has been. Moving on over to Wolverine, issue 13 by Percy Eaton Jr. and Wilson. Yo, I feel so bad for this Wolverine run. It has no identity. It's like constantly being taken over by the main X stuff. First it was Ten of Swords, now it's the Hellfire Gala. Like, this is not a Wolverine book. I mean, this is more like an X-Force book. Yeah, I didn't mind the Hellfire Gala. I like the payoff at the end. This takes place during that time where Wolverine is with X-Force and they're like the bouncers of the Hellfire Gala. And then there's some kind of like other plant species that crashes the party. I don't know. It was terrible until Deadpool showed up. Deadpool had me cracking up in this issue, man. He was attacked by the plant. He's like, what, in the chlorophyll? It was pretty funny, man. So towards the end, Deadpool kind of saved this issue for me. But, yo, F in the chat for the Wolverine run so far, man. And then another X book, we have Way of X, issue 3, Spurrier, Quinn, and Tartaglia. So this book's all about mutants having sex. I don't know. Pretty weird stuff. It was interesting. I mean, Hellfire Gala as well. Nightcrawler getting drunk off of gin. Gin will do it to you, man. Stay away from gin, boys and girls. And just being obnoxious drunk at a party, saying things he shouldn't say, mentioning Onslaught, all this kind of stuff. And then it gets into this whole weird thing of like the rules of Krakoa, and it's like biblical. Like the first rule is you must make more mutants, and Kurt Wagner's trying to encourage everyone on the island to procreate, and we get this twist kind of thing here. It's not really a twist, it's on the cover where like there are a bunch of babies. Like, what do you expect? These are like in shape teenagers with powers on spring break, essentially. I don't know. Anyway, it was a weird issue. I wasn't really digging it. They did have the Legion appearance, which has been kind of, you know, leading up to this from the last two issues, but it felt a little bit out of place. I blame the Gala. All right, on to Fantastic Four Life Story, issue 2. This is 1970s. You have Mark Russell, Sean Isaacs, and Nolan Woodard. So is this not Chip Zdarsky? Is somebody else writing every time? I thought it was Chip the whole time I was reading it. great issue, man. So basically, we're in the 70s of Fantastic Four, but this is where they introduce characters like the Black Panther, like Namor, and most importantly, Doctor Doom. And like the other life story that we've gotten with Spider-Man, this starts to go off the beaten path. Is that how you say that? Beaten path? Beaten? Anyway, kind of sad, man. Like Reed Richards teaming up with Victor Von Doom. Reed Richards is obsessed with the coming of Galactus. He's kind of being laughed at by the scientific community, and it's really causing a wedge in his marriage, as bad as it gets. And I thought it was really a really sad, real story, and I thought it was Chip writing it, but big props to Mark Russell. It was a heartfelt, touching story, sad and kind of depressing. And it was just really, really good. All right, on to Heroes Return, issue 1, which is the end of the Heroes Reborn miniseries by Jason Aaron. Got pencils by Ed McGuinness, Mark Morales, and Matthew Wilson on the book as well. It wraps up the saga in a good way. I'm not going to give any spoilers here, but we find out, which we kind of already knew, who caused this. We find out the motivations. We find out how this ends, and it does end, and sets up something interesting in the future. Showdown between the Avengers and the Squadron Supreme, who are blinded by this fake world that was created by said person, and it gets resolved. So I thought it was pretty good. I really liked the Blade versus Nighthawk stuff. I thought that was pretty cool, and Captain America versus Hyperion. It was fun. I mean, it was 9 issues. There was an issue every week. It didn't drag on. It didn't overstay its welcome, and now it's gone. Next, we're on to XMen Legends issue 4. This is by Louise Simonson, Walter Simonson, and Laura Martin. What year is this? This is basically an X-Factor book that takes place after Apocalypse made Angel into Archangel, and before Apocalypse infects baby Nathan with the technovirus and sends him to the future. So it's kind of like Untold Tales of X-Factor. Did I say X-Force earlier? It's X-Factor. The art looks like it. It doesn't feel like they modernized it at all. The writing feels like it felt back then. If you like the late 80s X-Factor run, this is for you. It's a long-lost story that you haven't read yet. All right, then we have Gamma Flight issue 1. This is by Al Ewing, Crystal Frazier, Lan Medina, and Antonia Fabuela. And I wasn't going to pick this up because honestly, like the Gamma Flight stuff was the least interesting stuff in the Immortal Hulk run to me. Like I didn't care about them, and that's kind of how I felt about this issue. Like I don't care about Puck or Absorbing Man or Titania or any of these characters whatsoever. And that weird hybrid of two people, I don't even remember the character's name. So the point here is Gamma Flight is no longer with Alpha Flight. They're basically on the run from the feds, but they're gonna be like Gamma heroes. Whenever there's a Gamma powered creature going loose, they're going to go there and try to mediate and try to recruit, kind of like what mutants do, I guess. So that's kind of the gist of it. I mean, it got a little interesting towards the end of the book here where that said fight happened, but otherwise I was kind of right about this book with my preconceived notions. All right, then we're on to DC, and forgive me, I read these all the day prior, so we're going to try to do our best to recollect. Harley Quinn, issue 4. This is by Phillips, Rosemo, Liston, and Placencia. And this is going to be my last issue of Harley Quinn. I'm not digging it. I don't like the gritty type of art style for this book. It doesn't really match the dialogue. The storyline is like whatever. There's some good comic relief from Harley Quinn here, and pretending to be like a hero, this Bat kind of inspired hero, and trying to instill fear into criminals and stuff, and trying to save this person that was part of the Joker gang. He's been reformed, but he's still going to be experimented on by Hugo Strange. I don't know. I just don't care about this book. Then we have Robin 3 by Joshua Williamson. We have Melenkov and Guerrero. So this one's okay. So you have Robin. He's on the island, the Mortal Kombat type island. Everyone's kind of like testosterone levels have calmed down a little bit. Not everybody wants to kill everyone. They're walking around the island, kind of learning things about each other. These fighters kind of learning that they're more similar to each other than they may think, and they find common ground. And it's kind of a more lighthearted issue than what the other issues have been so far. Not really a lot of fighting. Kind of a little twist at the end. We have somebody who shows up to save Damian, but it's not Bruce Wayne, and that's kind of a cool little hook. All right, then we have Justice League issue 63 with Bendis, Marquez, and Placencia. I've been loving this run. This kind of is nearing towards the end of this arc, if it's not the last issue. Off of Naomi's homeworld, we had the final showdown between Zumbado and the Justice League, and they had to escape. And, you know, something with that planet affects each member of the Justice League in a different way, some worse, some better. Naomi kind of feeling like this is all her fault, but kind of gets some redemption at the end here. This is the big flashy superhero stuff that I like, so I'm digging this one. All right, on to Detective Comics issue 1038 by Tamaki, Bogdanovic, Enriquez, and Belair. It also has a backup story that's featuring the Penguin, which is by Fitzmartin, Moster, and Belair as well. Love and Detective. So basically, this is the big showdown between, I'm forgetting his name now, the big burly guy who runs Gotham, who half found Gotham, whose daughter was killed. His big blowout with Bruce Wayne. He wants Bruce Wayne and Batman dead, and I kind of thought that was a little whack. Like, the two people you hate the most happen to be the same person. But, you know, he blew up the police station with a bazooka last issue or so, and it was just a big brouhaha with him and Bruce. The Penguin backup story was really good, man. Like, Penguin's tired of being laughed at. Like, he's the butt of jokes. He's not this threat that he used to be back in the day. So he steps his game up, and he shows why he should be respected as that. This was a really good backup story, and what's funny is I think I skipped every other backup story in these other DC books. All right, moving on over to Action Comics, issue 1032 by Johnson, Semperi, and Lucas. So this is the storyline that's following the events of War World, right? And the prophecy that there are lost Kryptonians that will come to Earth or what have you. And we have that lost Kryptonian who's branded with the Superman crest or the House of El symbol, and he's trying to figure out, why are they branded, why are they in chains? And this big battle between Superman and these kaiju monsters, which kind of ends pretty cliche, flying through the mouth, you know, all that kind of stuff. So anyway, I'm digging this issue. It doesn't feel like a lot has really happened in this issue from the next. I'm kind of wanting this story to pick up a little bit because I like the plot. I like the potential that it has, but this one kind of was like, it moved along a little bit, and I skipped the backup Midnighter story. All right, on to Wonder Woman 774 by Cloonan, Conrad, McDonald, and Filardi. This has a backup Young Diana story, which I skipped. But, you know, I thought we were done with this arc. I guess not. We're kind of like, we're done with the whole Asgard stuff, but it's the same Wonder Woman, the same Diana. She's back at Olympus, and now it's a murder mystery. Somebody has been killing the gods of Olympus, and she's trying to figure out who it is, basically. But it's interesting. I like this take on Wonder Woman. I like how she's kind of like, her mind has kind of been wiped, but she remembers who she is. She has her powers back, but she's still looking at things with like new eyes. It references the Dark Knight's death metal event, and that's going to also play a part in some of these other issues, but I was digging it. All right, then we have Superman issue 32 by Johnson, Kodlewski, Eltab, and has a backup Tales of Metropolis story that I skipped, which is like a Bibbo story or whatever that guy's name is. So this is the story with Superman and Jonathan Kent, where they were responding to a distress call on a faraway planet, and there was this whole thing when they got there of we didn't call you, everything's fine here, and this race of aliens possessed by some type of shadow monster. So we get the backstory of what happened on the planet, what the internal rifts were, and it was a good story. So, you know, it was okay. All right, man, so many Batman and Superman stories. It's hard to kind of keep them all in my head, but Batman and Superman issue 19 by Yang, Lupacino, Lieber, Robertson, Holtz, and Rich. Saddle up and away. When I saw this cover, I was like, man, you know, they did like Turtles in Time here. Like, okay, now we're in a Western. And talking about overstaying your welcome, we're still on this whole character that can manipulate the worlds with the time reels, and these different Superman and Batman from different worlds mixed together on some other world. They kind of went off the rails with this one. I think they should have wrapped up this arc an issue or so ago, because now it got just so crazy with this creature. I forget what his name is, man. But we get more backstory on him and how he's able to do these things that he's able to do. What are the motivations and all these things? So this one had less charm to me. Less stuff with Batman, Superman, and Robin, and getting to know each other because they're from different worlds and everything. So it like lacked all of that, and it just kind of went, like I said, off the rails. All right, so then we have Infinite Frontier, issue 1 of 6. This is by Williamson, Hermancio, and Ferraro. Is it Zermancio and Ferraro Jr.? So I was kind of excited for this because the end of Dark Knight's death metal let us know that we're at least split into two different universes, Future State and Infinite Frontier, and there's multiverses again and all that stuff. So I mean, this was pretty interesting. I guess the basis of this is that there's multiverses, 52 known multiverses, and then there's like this coalition of heroes from different Earths that come together and kind of monitor multiversal events, if you will. I had to take a look. So many books, I'm forgetting what's going on here. So Thomas Wayne shows up, and we're kind of looking through his eyes here. We're meeting, you know, the characters on the front here, these different Superman, the Alan Scott Green Lantern, and all these things through Thomas Wayne's eyes, and we're being explained what's going on in that way. So far so good. I'm interested to see what this miniseries brings. Unlike this miniseries, Checkmate issue 1 of 6 by Bendis, Maleev, and Stewart. So here's the thing. I didn't start reading single issues until after the whole event Leviathan, so I was completely lost here. A ton of characters, I have no idea who they are. I felt like this was super boring. Definitely not going to continue to read this. I'm lost, just totally lost. All right, then we have Teen Titans Academy issue 4 by Sheridan, Lieber, and Stewart. This is... I don't want to say it went off the rails, but it definitely changed tones and art style as well. Basically, this is about the Bat Pack, these 3 kind of detectives in training who are taking it upon themselves to find out who is Red X. And they point out who I thought Red X was, but they kind of tried to debunk it in this issue. But just kind of like a more lighthearted take, and them trying to deduct who's who, and they find that they don't know anything until they work together, and they know more than they should, and all that kind of stuff, and kind of all hits the fan when they run into Red X in the issue. So we don't know who he is yet, and it was just kind of an okay, lighthearted story. All right, guys, and lastly, my pick of the week. This was a no-brainer. When I read this one, when I first started reading it, I was like, holy crap, this is awesome. So Batman Reptilian. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't read like the synopsis or anything. This is a DC Black Label book, issue 1 by the great Garth Ennis. He's joined by Liam Sharp, and Liam Sharp kind of gives his 2 cents at the beginning of this, like, hey, listen, this script was meant for Steve Dillon, and I'm just hoping I'm doing him justice, and he kills it. This is an artistic, painted style interior artwork, which is amazing. It's a dark story. It doesn't really get too Garth Ennis-y yet. It doesn't really have the same quips and kind of like tone that he has yet. But man, it is super dark. Bruce Wayne just walking up to this, like, what is it, like some kind of mayor or something giving a eulogy on City Hall. He just walks right through him in broad daylight, and he just is intimidating as hell. He's intimidating criminals, holding them off the rooftops. And we don't really know what this reptilian thing is all about yet, but what we do know is that somebody is out there mutilating the rogues galleries. I'm not going to name names, but people are being ripped in half, and it seems like there's something that's able to control the attitudes or the actions of people. Like basically in one of these rogues gallery monthly meetups, everybody for no reason whatsoever just turns on each other, friends on friends, partners on partners, and something seemingly able to control them. I'm guessing it's something reptilian. The artwork in this is amazing. This is going to be like some type of oversized absolute edition one day because it's really that good. Whew. Finally got through all these books, guys. This was a huge week for comics and not really the best week, which is tough. It makes the reads even longer. But let me know what your favorite books were in the comments down below. That's what's going to enter you into the drawing for the 150,000 subscriber giveaway, where we're going to give away this Deja Thoris premium format statue by Sideshow. Once we hit the milestone, we'll go live, pick a random video where I promoted the giveaway, and use a random YouTube comment generator to draw a worldwide winner. As always, I appreciate you guys watching, but don't go anywhere. Make sure to check out our last top 10 video with me and Rockin' Robbie, counting down our top 10 favorite comics of the week, and the last week's new comic book day reviews if you missed them. Stay minty fresh. Peace.